Well, hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good to be back at the bench. Good to have a bench to be back to. Been out of it for a little bit, um, but now it's time to get back to work. Wanted to show off a few projects that I've got going on. I do scratch building. I don't have any kits really to go off of. I typically work in larger scale, 1/16 and up to 1/8. Their preferred scale. I love getting into the detail, and it's a lot easier to detail in scale and have everything in perspective, have everything look right. One of the projects that I have going on is a 27 Model T Coupe. Um, Kind of hard to find measurements for, so I'm having to do a lot of eyeball engineering, finding measurements, and doing a lot of scratch building. Everything on that complete model is going to have to be scratch built because nothing that I want to put onto the model is done in kit form. So everything from even the tires and wheels are going to have to be scratch built. So we'll see how that one turns out. In the meantime, in order to hone a few skills, work the plastic, get used to grinding half of the model down with my Dremel, I've been working on this project, which started out being something completely different. It just kind of evolved into what it is now. Basically, a something street rod. Won't be sure what the body will actually be until I actually start putting some more shape to it and see what it ends up looking like. My original intention was to be like a Fiat Topolino body, but as you can see, it is nowhere close. And also trying to find measurements and scale, and scale them down. That's also a little bit of a trick. So I've been having to um, find ways of doing that. And as I've been practicing on that, I've been missing quite a bit on there. Trying to build the engine, I think that ended up just a little too large. But nothing is a waste. It's only plastic, so just put it back in the box and move on, or I'll fix that. But until then, I'll put this one away, and then I bring out another project. This project is one I have going in around about 1/25th scale. Pretty much the way I'm scaling this is any of the measurements that I can find online for like the engine, which is going to be basically probably a Chevy base, small block, something simple. Easy measurements to find, and I can transfer those to 1/25th scale pretty easily by just using 1 millimeter equals 1 inch. Gets close enough, uh, especially for this project. As long as everything looks in scale to itself or in relation to each other, then I'm going to be happy with it. Like I say, kind of think Raiders coach, only being a horse-drawn hearse, kind of make it a little bit creepier. Working with wood grain, trying to build columns, add details, and also, like I say, once again, by building skills on this one, learning different techniques, then I can make my mistakes at the smaller scale rather than messing up the big project that I have going on, because I want that one to be done right. Uh, this guy's not too bad. I guess it's just kind of finding pictures, finding a shape that I want to go with, and then just see where the glue and plastic take me. This is part of where I'm at on 2/3 of the chassis for the 1/8 scale Model T. It's going to be pretty much a completely modern layout. If you were to take a modern sports car, or say a Corvette, and plant a Model T body onto it. That's what I'm going with. That's where I have so far, so I'm having to do quite a bit of building onto the back to get it to look right and hold a transaxle. Anything forward of the firewall I haven't even planned yet, so finding what motor I'm going to go with that, if I can try and build a newer Vette motor, something like that, give it a little bit of a high-tech redneck look. The body that I have so far is shaped in, getting basic dimensions. Tough to find any kind of measurements for this type of body. You can find the coupes everywhere, you can find T-buckets everywhere. They use the same chassis, so I do have some measurements to go off of, but basically finding a known measurement such as window opening, taking that measurement, finding a picture online, scaling that measurement down, and just hitting mid. Hopefully you can line anything up with the picture, using a caliper, getting the various dimensions and measurements. I was able to get the contours of the body. It's a little difficult to go because you not only have this outside radius, then you have an inside coming straight up, plus you have the radius around the edge. So that's a lot of shaping, that trying to get flat plastic to conform. As you can see, that's why I want to get it right, and I want to try the different techniques to see what is the best way to achieve what I need without having to add a lot of plastic just to remove a lot of plastic. Some things don't quite look right. It looks a little wide. It's going to be tubbed, but body-wise it still looks a little wide. I think it's a lot of it because of the taper I haven't added in yet. There's a lot of shape and sanding to be done on it until I actually get that, the doors, get the cowl, and start getting an actual body shape. I'll be a little bit happier with how it looks. Until then, I'll keep practicing on the smaller ones, and who knows how many more projects I'll end up getting started before I get back to that one. And finally, I have an actual store-bought kit. It's been quite a while since I've been able to actually walk into a store, pick up a model, look over different ones, and that actually be a decent selection. Found a hobby shop local, and went in and bought me a kit. They had the normal selection of $25, $30, $35 car kits. They also had their selection of the $15, $16 cheaper kits, older kits. The good selection, nice subject matter as far as anything that I would like. Most people have done them to death. The 66 Nova, 57 Chevy, 56 Ford pickup, I believe, and 67 GTO were the ones that they had. Usually you can find a few of them for that $16 range, and they do vary widely as far as quality. This one here, not too bad for what I wanted to use it for. It's been going together beautifully. I am not building it box stock, so what I'm enjoying of it, you may not necessarily care for in a kit that you're going to build and have it actually represent a 68 Shelby GT500. The scripting, like for the Shelby, the Cobra, a lot of that is fairly nicely etched. It is pretty fine, so once you start sanding, a lot of that detail is probably gonna end up losing. But as it is on the bare body, it's not too bad. Once you get build up paint, you're gonna lose it. So that extra fine detail, while it is nice in one respect, once you actually start working with it, it's you got to be very careful. I am sanding through all of that, getting rid of it, so none of that is going to be used. And the headlights are chrome. There's no plastic, no clear plastic at all for those. The tail lights are also the solid and chrome. Um, okay by me. I'm not, trying to, build an outstanding kit. This is an older tooling. It's been around for quite a while. Not a lot of flash on the kit, really. Kind of surprised given the age of it. Usually, once they've been repopped a few times, then they start wearing. So you get a lot of flash around a lot of the parts. This one here, not too bad. A few seams that had to be taken care of. I'm completely sanding over the body and smoothing everything out. So there's nothing really going to be left of it that says Shelby. Uh, Door handles molded in. Uh, the glass, the front glass and the wings are all molded in and tied to the back glass. So opening the interior, that's something you're going to have to deal with, so that that's not visible. Easy to cut through on the doors, very thin plastic. Uh, yeah, I'm happy with, the kit as far as what I was able to use it for. And since it was a $16 kit, I had no problem cutting it up into something a little bit more what I like. As I said, I like the scratch build. So this is what I'm kind of working on. There's no more motor. It got moved to the back. Cut the back half off, cut the doors off. Really gonna chop the front end up. So bye bye $16 kit. But it's okay because I have a lot of plastic. The concept is obviously the Shelby and crossing that back with the GT40 or 4GT, moving the engine to the back. Scratch built the supercharger, added the bigger heads, valve covers, which the theme of the motor, like I say, the concept of it would be if that were a Boss 429 built today. The detail will show it as a dual overhead cam, dual plug Hemi. Reshaped the just past the bell housing, added that into like a transaxle with the transmission behind the differential, and then just adding different shapes into it to make it look like something. Not really building a replica of anything specific on that, just getting the detail there to be represented. Once the frame is built up, then it'll be a long arm, short arm suspension, add the coil shocks, things like that, air boxes, and then fish a nest of vipers through there, call it an exhaust. Keeping classic interior, keeping the classic dash. Gonna remodel the seats. I'll build the front compartment to add in the cooling fans on the radiator, dip that down like the hood on the GT40 or the either the GTs. So it's been a fun build. Like I said, it's good to have a kit to actually pull parts out of, open the bags and see what you got. And for the scratch building part, to have something to base off of. I was able to start with the 428 that came with the kit and just build off of that. It was made it a lot simpler. I didn't have to go in and just scratch build every little piece. I can still get my scratch building bug worked on, and I can build a kit, and I can glue plastic, and I can just do whatever I want with it without really worrying about cutting up a $20-$30 kit. So this is what I've been having fun with. Uh, I'll probably do more updates on this one here as I go along because I'll be working on this one here more. Uh, Kind of nice, like I say, to have a kit, so I'm kind of getting that addiction taken care of. Got to feed it. Until then, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you soon. All right. Bye bye.